Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I post ballet and fitness related videos every single Tuesday, Thursday, and now Sunday. And if you're also new, you may as well hit subscribe. I went to my first in-person ballet class in 5 years in Toronto the other day, and it got me thinking, I don't have a video on my YouTube channel where I just show you guys all of the exercises that I like to do within 15 minutes before my ballet class. And I say 15 minutes because depends on TTC, depends on transportation, traffic, how early you can get to a dance class. I always recommend 30 minutes, but sometimes the studio doors don't open until 15 or 10 minutes before. So I wanted to show you a couple of quick exercises that you guys can also do to help you warm up and set up for a ballet class, because we're in the year 2023. We are on the path to injury prevention and extending our dance career. We don't want to just hold a flat split for 2 minutes before our ballet class. So for today's exercises, all you'll need for equipment is a TheraBand and one yoga block. I'm going to try to keep this as brief and as compact as possible for you guys, because I know not all the time you can get a lot of studio space for a lot of time before the class, and if you do, you're pretty lucky. Now, the very first thing that I like to do to help me warm up, and I do a couple of stretches before, just kind of like cat stretches, you know, roll at my shoulders, roll at my head, and I have a separate video of just a quick dancer warm up as well. If it isn't a specific ballet class, you can go check out in my description box as well as in the cards up above. But the very first exercise I like to do before doing anything is literally just hip circles. So you don't even have to point your feet for this, but you're gonna drive your right knee up, out, and down. We're gonna do 8, so let's do 7. Keeping that left hip grounded so you're not opening and swinging the left hip to the side. 4, and 3. You can do this laying down as well. I just find it's easier to speak to you guys on my elbows. And 1, and then we're gonna reverse 8. So this is just the warm up, so we're just keeping it nice and brief. We're just trying to create a lot of warmth in our hip joint, because we're going to be focusing on our hips in ballet class. They're an integral part of ballet, classical ballet. You have to rotate inside the hip, externally rotate and turn out, as we know. And let's switch sides. 8. So it's very, very important, 7, that you're going into a class with your hips nice and ready. 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's reverse. It's nice and quick. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Then we can lay all the way down on our back, take our feet about mat distance apart, and just find internal rotation. Turn the knees in, inside the hips, keeping our back nice and flat. And then let's heel toe our feet to find external rotation and butterfly. And you can just kind of bounce, but don't force it, just relax it. Nice and relaxed. And then heel toe the feet and find internal again. Again, don't force it, just natural. Heel to the feet and open. Beautiful. Planting our feet right underneath our hips, belly button to spine. We're going to do 10 glute bridges, and then we're going to do 5 single leg bridges on each side. And I don't do a lot of repetitions, you'll notice, or a lot of sets either, because I don't want to get tired before the ballet class. You know, I just want to warm things up, but I don't want to do a workout that's going to tire me out where I don't have energy to do bar, center, point work, whatever I'm doing, or rehearsals later. So let's press up for 10. It is so sunny, so I apologize if the picture is really weird. 9, and 8. Option to take your arms in first, and I'm keeping my legs parallel right now. 7, and I'm really warming up the hamstrings and the glutes. 6, and 5. One long line from my knees to my shoulders. I'm not arching my back. 4, and 3, and 2, and last one. 1. Now let's lift the right knee first, so heel toe your feet a little bit closer just so it's easier to balance. Lifting the right knee. Let's lift up, and I like to lift my toes as well, my left foot, so I can really dig my heel in, feel my hamstring. 4, 3, and I'm driving that knee up, hip flexion here. 2, and 1. Go ahead and take a little figure 4, heel on the thigh, and then switch sides, dig the right heel in, Lift the left foot, lift the left knee to the chest. We lift up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now sometimes I'll repeat that one more time just to get the hamstrings nice and warm, but let's just roll up the ankles a couple of times, and we'll extend the knees too because they've been bent for a little while. Good. From here, keeping the knees extended, take your hands under your hips, and once again, just nice and easy, just for some core work, lower the legs. We're going to do 10 leg lowers, 10, and 9, and bring the legs all the way up to a little bit of a hamstring stretch. 8, back is nice and flat, and 7, and 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. You can bend your knees and take your legs across, arms straight across. And then bend the knees more, bring the heels close to the seat, slightly extend and take them to the other side as well. So we want to warm up our muscles and our body in all planes of motion. Frontal, sagittal, transverse. And I can put a description in my box below. Bring the knees in. Good. For the next one, we're going to extend our legs a little bit. And now this one's really good if you have a lot of hyperextension in your knees, and that is exactly what hyperextension is, when your legs sway back, as we call it. So you're going to dig your heels into the ground, and my knees are bent, so my hamstrings and my calves are not touching the floor right now. As I lift my hips, I'm going to feel that engagement in the back of my legs and in the hamstrings. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit more, so they're not fully extended, they're not fully bent. And I'm going to pull myself towards my heels and push away. So it's almost as if you're doing a hamstring curl. Pull towards and push away. Let's do that 10 times. 3, 4, and you'll definitely mess up the back of your hair doing this. 5, I always do my hair like last thing. 6 for this reason. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay with me. I know the hamstrings are a little bit on fire, and we're just going to point our right toes, slightly push the heels away a little bit, and lower. 2, we're only going to do 4 because I know it's a lot in the hamstrings. 2 more, and last one. Other side. 2, make sure you're bringing the belly button to spine, slightly tucking the hips. 2, 3, and 4, and then find the external rotation. We do tendus to the front once again. 4, nice and rotated this time. 3, I think my block's in the way, so I'm sorry for that. 2, and notice I'm not taking my hip with me. 1, other side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, lower down. Give yourself a hug, and then let's roll up. And then for the next one, because we moved our hips and our legs forwards like this, but we want to find that external rotation as well as that internal rotation so we can stretch out the hip flexors. So take one leg in front, one leg behind, and a double stag. And you're just going to go from side to side. Nice and easy, nothing fancy. This is once again just more of a warm-up for your hip joint. So notice here, I'm internally rotated technically. I'm flexing my hip to bring my knee up. Internal rotation, this one's slightly externally rotated, parallel, and stretching it. You can take it a step forward as well by pressing your hips forward to stretch out the front of the hip. And you also get a nice glute stretch there. And we're gonna do 3 without hands. You're gonna scoot forward, so make some space. 3. Nice and controlled. And 2. And last one. Beautiful. Beautiful. For the next one, we're going to be going on our side. So if you need some water, go ahead and grab some water really quickly. Now that our hips are nice and warmed up, we're gonna go on our side. And again, work on the turnout. So we're just gonna open and close our leg in a clamshell here. We're only gonna do 4. And let's go for 3. And let's go for 2. And let's go for 1. And then we're gonna complete a circle by lifting the knee, forward, and in. And again, 3, forward, and in. So we do 4 in total. 2. And last one, 1. Beautiful. Extend the legs underneath us. And we do the exact same thing. So this leg on top of us is gonna flex. You're gonna find internal rotation, but bring it to the side as if you're doing a tendu, or find parallel, neutral, and then external rotation, both legs. I keep the bottom leg external rotated and turned out. Find it parallel, turn it in, and turn it out. We can bring it a bit higher. Again, turn it in, which gets a little bit more difficult the higher you go, and lift it higher. And last time, turn it in. It gets really difficult up here. And then externally rotate, and then we complete the circle forwards. And up, 2. 2 more. And the last one. Beautiful. Cross your feet into a 5th position and just take 4 passe retires. 4, going from 5th to 5th. 3, 2, and 1. Last exercise for our hips on this side. Hip flexion, lifting the knee towards the shoulder. 2, 3, and then 4. We're going to extend and lower. Good. Shake it out, take a little bit of a stretch, and then we'll move on to the second side. So swing the legs around. Same thing, we start with our clamshells. 3, 2, 1, nice and quick and brisk. 4. The sun is totally in my way today. 3, oh my goodness, it's so bright. Beautiful, I can't complain. 2, just a little bit too bright right now. 1, and let's continue the circle. 4, 3, and try to get back a little bit too. I forgot to mention that on the first side. 2, bring the knee back a bit so you can stretch that thigh. 1, good, and then extend the legs underneath you. Just to get out of the sun, I'm gonna prop myself up on the elbow, but you guys don't do that. Turned out, turn it in, and out. And again, turn it in, and lift it up. 3, and lift it up. Ooh. Oh my goodness. 4, and last one. Continue the circle for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let's find those 4 passes. 4, 3, 2, and last 1, and we lift the knee for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend to a high développé and lower. Beautiful. Take a quick stretch. Good. Next exercise I love to do with my yoga block. Because we did a lot of hips, we want to work on a little bit of stretching now. So take 1 leg forward, 1 leg back. I like to take the block in the opposite hand of the leg that's in front, toes tucked. And you can go between toes tucked and untucked. And then let's hinge halfway back. So you're just rocking forward. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame, and back. And again, just rock forward. Maybe tuck the toes and do what feels good here. For some, maybe you're a little bit more tight here, so you want to stack your shoulders on top of your hips and think of bring your belly button to spine and even belly button towards your sternum to really tuck your pelvis. Even do a hamstring curl here to stretch out the quad. Beautiful. From here, tuck the toes and then flip a couple of times to a spider lunge. And then keeping your hips low, back to a front lunge. I like to keep my hands on the inside edge of my front leg. I'm gonna roll over my toes. Good, and that's good for me for today. I'm gonna tuck my toes under, lift the hips up into a triangle, and just lift the back heel up a couple of times. Now, this warm-up for me personally isn't set because each day is different, as we all know. Some days I need a little bit more attention on my hamstrings or on my calves, glutes, back. And then let's point our toes forward and then we'll switch sides. Go ahead and go down into a low lunge on the second side, same thing. And just do whatever feels good here. Again, whatever you need that day. So if you need to stay a little bit longer in one pose than another, go ahead and do that. Beautiful, and don't forget to go between your side lunge and your front lunge. And again, your side lunge and your front lunge. Good, and let's tuck our toes under, lift the hips up to a triangle, nice and squared off. Once again, doing what feels good here. Good, and then point your toes forward. This time point your toes out and you're gonna take either your elbows on your knees or hands on your knees. Now in bar fitness world, this is a ballet squat, but in dance world, this is just, I don't even know what we call this other than a grand plie stretch. Just kind of a lunge. It's not even a lunge, it's a squat, right? Just a nice stretch for the inner thighs. Good, and let's heel toe the feet together. And then bend the knees and stretch a couple of times. And I'm gonna walk towards my downward dog and get ready to do a little bit of back stretching and then footwork to finish. Let's lift the heels up and let's lower down to a plank. Because of time, I always hold a minute plank right before bar, but we'll just hold it for 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees, squeezing the glutes still, rotate the legs. You're gonna squeeze the glutes once again, turn out, press into the floor without sinking in the back. So you're actively using your back to press up and lower, articulating through the spine. Again, press up, maybe turning the head to one side and lower. And again to the other side maybe. And lower. And last time. And see if you can even let go here. If today's not your day to let go, that's fine too. You can let go. And lower. Beautiful. The very last thing I like to do before bar is I like to do a little bit of footwork with the TheraBand. So I'll put it on my feet. And I'll just do demi-pointe to point. Demi-pointe to flex 8 times. Demi-pointe to point. Demi-pointe to flex. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good, and then I'll roll up my ankles a couple of times. And then I'll do the same thing with the second foot. And I do have a separate exercise video for better arches and stronger feet and ankles, so go check that out as well. You can throw that at the end of this entire warm-up. Let's do demi-pointe to point. Demi, flex, 2, to point. Demi, flex, 3, to point. Demi, flex. And this is the pointing class where I'm really setting up my intentions. What do I want to achieve in this ballet class, as well as what do I want to focus on? And what things can I already celebrate before starting? Because Warming up for anything also requires a warm up of the brain. So sometimes I'll put music in and I'll just listen to some really calming music, or sometimes I need really upbeat music in the morning. Let's be real. You can roll up the ankle again. But I always like to start off by asking myself those 3 questions. What do I want to achieve in this class? What do I want to focus on so I can achieve that thing? And what can I already celebrate to begin? So one thing can just already be showing up. Another thing can be, maybe I feel really open today. And usually I'll do some upper body twists as well, even just sitting like this. What do I appreciate today as well? Something positive. Putting yourself in a positive and happy mind space before starting anything is already going to set you up so much better than if you're all doom and gloom and if you're already putting yourself down. Another thing I'll do before class is I'll just do 16 releves on my yoga block. Nice and simple, toes on the block, heels off, so I can really stretch out the calves. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments down below if this helped you. I can revise it if you have any other recommendations, but this is stuff I generally do. For me, I don't do a lot of passive stretching because I'm not passively stretching in class. So I do functional things that are going to help me, you know, get my body moving and support the muscles that I need to support. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, happy dancing, and until next time, bye now.